Okay guys, welcome back. I wanted to give you a final look at the cultivator in the shop. Dolly, why don't you go hide somewhere? Spring is starting to spring finally. Last week we had ice storms all week, but it's time to start broadcasting the clover. And also last week in one of the ice storms, my new farmer came and we made a deal on the international cultivator, so it's going to its new home. But during the bad weather, we got the cultivator in the shop and we have got it all put back together. So for those of you who know what this cultivator is, or have seen a cultivator similar to this, you will have figured out that Noble made these cultivators for Massey Ferguson. And like most things that Massey had a short line company do for them, Massey gave Noble their specs, how they wanted the cultivator built, and they had the short line company Noble make the cultivator to their specs. And so these cultivators look remarkably similar to the Nobles, but there are some differences. So one thing you're probably noticing here on this end row unit, I had to use one of the different styled row units. The reason I had to use the different style row unit is because I like my guide fin on the front there to line up directly with that row. The nice thing about the Noble guide fin is that it has this bolt pattern which allowed me to use those higher clearance shanks. And so it was pre-made that way with an extra set of bolts. If I had the low clearance shank, I would have used the upper or the lower holes there. But anyway, so we've got all of our parts on and we've got it machined up and it is tight. Last thing I wanted to talk to you about was the 3 attachment points. So if you line up here to a row unit, you see that there are 3 attachment points to the toolbar. The row unit joins with 3 attaching points. And if I wiggle on this row unit with my foot, you see that there is no play in the row unit. So the reason that that is important and that this cultivator has an edge over the John Deere and the international cultivators is because of those 3 attachment points. And so when a big weed comes down here and hits that 7-inch sweep, rather than the whole row unit walking out of the way, it pulls true and will take out the big weed. So the keeping your units tight, very important if you're trying to kill big weeds, especially if you're trying to kill big weeds right next to the row. Now you will see that I put on the little 4-inch sweeps that will run right next to the row here, and I did not cut them off. I did not cut off the edge, so it will be aggressive. This cultivator will be aggressive right next to the row on the bigger weeds that the first cultivation missed. Also guys, if you go find one of these cultivators and you go to Massey Ferguson and try and order the bushings, you're not going to have any luck because apparently I cleaned out Massey Ferguson's stockpile of these bushings. The good news is you can find these on the internet. A place in Illinois called Acme Machine had these bushings, and they are relatively standard bushings. This one does have a grease groove in it. That's an original Massey Ferguson bushing. And that is one of the bushings that I bought from Acme Machine. But you have, you know, 2 bushings in the top here. And then you have that smaller bushing there. You have 4 of them down on the other points. But that is relatively standard bushing stock, and you can find new bushings. So if you're trying to rebuild one of these cultivators and tighten up your row units, you can. But there is our cultivator. Can't wait till cultivation season. Thanks, guys.